Welcome to our first video on looking at the big idea of addition and subtraction. I'd like to take you through the use of using Double-Nine Dot Dominoes in our classroom, some teaching tips for classroom management, as well as the all-important teaching sequence. I like to use Double-Nine Dot Dominoes. In this way, children can look at a range of our strategies for addition and subtraction. For example, count on 1. I can see 3 and 1 more makes 4. Also count on 2, where children might say, oh, Miss Chin, I know there's 9 dots there because I can see 7 and 2 more makes 9. Also lovely for using the double strategy. If I said to children, how do you know there's 9 dots there? We get very excited if they say, well, it's like a double 4, but there's an extra dot. So that's how I know it's 9. And we can also use these for our third mental computation strategy, which is bridge to 10. So when asking children, how do you know there's 15 dots there? Well, Miss Chin, I can see there's 9 and 6. And I know 9 and 1 are friends, that makes 10, and 5 more is 15. So there's our Double-Nine Dot Dominoes, which we're going to use for our mental computation strategies for kindergarten to year 2, and also to reconnect students with prior learning whilst they're in years 3 and 4. So let's see what it looks like in the classroom. In a kindergarten classroom, I like children working in groups of 4, either seated on the floor or working at tables. The same applies in a year 3-4 classroom, but usually due to the size of our classrooms, I like to have years 3-4 children sitting at their tables working in groups of 4. Our first important thing with dominoes when we introduce them to children is giving them enough time to actually become familiar with the resource. And what we usually see in kindergarten is they'll pick the dominoes up, and rather than supertising, which is having that instant recognition of a small collection of dots, they'll actually start touching the dots, or what we call spots or pips, and they'll count them by ones. Children also get very excited when they discover a blank, and they'll usually want to show that to you. We can then ask children to find combinations of numbers. I like to start with, find me all the dominoes that have a total of 10 spots on them. And when you find them, place them on top of your box. Now the reason for this is because it actually reinforces our friends of 10, or 2 numbers, which add to 10. When children place their 5 dominoes on their box, I then like to ask them to think like a mathematician and arrange their dominoes so that they form a pattern. For older students, we may like to ask them, why did you create that pattern? And we get very excited when they say, well, the first horizontal row, Miss Chin, they're in ascending order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the second horizontal row, they are in descending order, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Younger children, as you'll see in the video in the classroom, they'll say, it's like I counted and I went from the top around to the bottom. We may, however, need to give some scaffolding for our students, and hence I then like to write on the board and connect to the abstract written recording, which is showing our patterns in algebra, that 1 more than 9 is the same as 9 more than 1.